Welcome to all the real estate farmers out there, real estate agents that have joined us from around America today. We've got a pretty full house today. Happy Thursday to everybody. I'm Scott Koyman from CLME, the Certified Local Market Expert designation. And in just a moment, we're going to introduce Michael. And it's a great topic today. It's one that I know that you're really excited about, bringing some of Michael's expertise and wisdom on how to be the most referred realtor in your community. And we're going to have some time later on for some Q&A, so please, if you have a question, type it into the GoToWebinar widget. It'll be on the top right hand of your screen, and we'll engage some of those questions at the end of the webinar. Now, this webinar is being recorded. We'll have it up later today at clme.com. It's under the Resources tab. Just click on Bonus Webinars, and you'll see it there. Now, before we start, I want to spend a couple minutes talking briefly about CLME. It's the Certified Local Market Expert designation, and we teach real estate agents how to build a business that's consistent through real estate farming. A big piece of that is the core classes. So we teach you the introduction to farming, so some concepts on how to choose a geographic farm, some formulas that will help you choose a farm based on its business potential rather than your heart. We teach branding, from the implementation of your brand identity to the science behind the branding, that psychological basis for why branding is important, how to imprint your brand in the minds of those in your farm so that when they think about real estate, they think about you. That's what's important. We teach marketing, how to reach your farm effectively, tons of great ideas to implement. We teach you how to engage local businesses, how to network to develop that strong core of support and interaction in your farm. We teach you what you need to know to be a local market expert. We show you how to grow your business by farming both your database of past clients, finding niche groups within your geographic farm using your existing marketing strategies. So all these classes, they're online. You don't have to schedule anything. They're available anytime and anywhere you can get an internet connection. And each class has worksheets that helps you apply what you've learned in your farming plans. We've got bonus webinars like this one where we interview some really smart people like we're doing today. We share some of our resources like our newsletter, Kenny's listing presentation, some stuff like that. We've got all of our form scripts, digital copy of our newsletter so you can get some ideas on how to do your own newsletters. You get all of our marketing ideas. They're all spelled out with every ingredient to a great farming event or a campaign, how to put it together, an article on why to do it, and it's all sent to your email. And one of the coolest things about CLME is our collaborative network on Facebook, and together we share best practices, new ideas, expound on the webinars and more, and that helps us all become better farmers. So if you're not yet a member and you're just watching this free webinar, CLME is only $499. It includes everything we just talked about. If you like, there's an option at clme.com to pay over the course of 3 months. But for those of you on the live webinar today, you can take advantage of coupon code Maher. That's M-A-H-E-R, Maher, to take 30% off the CLME designation. That's a savings of $150. Now, you got to go to clme.com, click on sign up, and get registered to take advantage of this discount. It's $150 off by using coupon code Maher, and you'll get all the tools and information you need to build a business that's consistent when the market shifts so you can get your unfair share of the real estate market. Now, it is a real pleasure to introduce you to our special guest today. It's Michael Maher, and Michael's endorsed by such powerhouses as Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey, Zig Ziglar, Gary Keller, some pretty big names. And he's the best-selling author of one of the greatest books out there for real estate agents, 7L. It's the 7 levels of communication. Michael's a top-ranked, engaging, and energetic speaker. I love hearing him talk. He's the founder of the Generosity Generation. And he grew up in Kansas City. He still owns a real estate company out there. And today he's coming to us from his home in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, Michael.
Scott, thank you so much for having me on today. Such a pleasure. And what is so amazing is I've seen CLME even before it was born, and it is amazing how you and Kenny and the group just continue to to make it better, make it bigger, and make it more powerful. And I love that opening slide because you've added things even since a few months ago when we were looking at it. So I just love that you guys are always continuously improving, and there's no better education for people when it comes to farming than what you are doing with CLME. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Michael. So you're going to talk to us today about how to become the most referred in your community.
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking forward to this because it's one of those where I think CLME, there's no better place to find out about farming, and what I would hope the world would say is when it comes to referrals, there's no better place to learn than from Michael Maher. So it's what we want to do is we want to mix those two philosophies, and I think it's the perfect mix because what we do is we teach people there's two different kinds of farms. There's a geographic farm, which is what CLME teaches, which is, geographic farm, they're all together, and you can focus on them. And then there is a demographic farm, which is a farm that is linked by some other thing besides geography. Like for me, it's for people who know me, right? It's my sphere of influence, my circle of influence, or what some people call the community of influence. So what's amazing is there's still people on that back end, and we need to relate to them as people. So it's amazing how similar the philosophies and the aspects of doing this are. And I'm excited because this is outside the norm for me a little bit, from the stance of, hey, we do a lot of farming, but we don't talk a lot about it because our primary interest is referrals. So so this is me, blah 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 blah, right? And that's all you need to know there. Let's keep going. All right. So here's the thing. I have to just say thank you, Scott, for the opportunity, and I'm just really appreciative of you and what you guys are doing with CLME and the designation, and helping people get education around what we consider one of the top 5 pillars in real estate, which is farming. So thank you for this opportunity. And this webinar is customized for you as a CLME, as a certified local market expert. I totally customized this presentation, and with the thought in mind of who you are as an attendee. So I made this for you, and I have to thank CLME for A, giving me this opportunity, and B, challenging me to come up with another custom presentation, especially for you. And I love challenges just as all of you do.
And I'll be sure to offer you some more challenges as we go along.
Well, thanks, and I'm looking for the Q&A session at the end. Well, this is my gift to you. Some of you know me pretty well, and I always start my presentations with expressing appreciation, and I always follow that by giving a gift, and usually that gift ranges from $99 to $1,000. And so what I would like to give all of you today, because you're on this live event, is I want to give you my entire housewarming party system. Right, so this makes for great photo ops, by the way. Having housewarming parties for the people who buy in your farm is a great idea. Helped us take a neighborhood that normally sells 5 houses a year, and we sold 59 in that neighborhood. And the housewarming parties were a big part of that. We do this 30 to 45 days after they move in, and we do this for every buyer who buys a home with the Kansas City Home Team. And so that's me, and that's my buyer's agent, and this is her friend who, single female, got into a phenomenal house. So great photo op, and then we're also going to give you the entire checklist for how we run our housewarming parties. We're also going to give you the 2-page party procedures manual, which will allow you to literally follow the course of the action to throw your first housewarming party. And then the best part of this, to be honest with you, is the secret weapon, and this is the door prize entry form. And on the door prize entry form, you're going to find that we get referrals from the door prize entry form. We do not ask for referrals, but we get and attract a ton of referrals. And one of the ways we do that is with the door prize entry form. And it's a $4.97 value. Your gift today, all you have to do is go to 7lbook.com/housewarming party. Make sure you type this in lowercase, housewarming party. For some reason, if you use mixed case, it doesn't go to the right place. And there's no login, no registration. I'm not looking to quote-unquote build my list here. All I want you to do is get the housewarming party system. It'll help you throw a housewarming party and all the benefits of that. And B is that you'll see what a system looks like and what a checklist looks like. So check out 7lbook.com/housewarming party. That's my free, and that is something we normally sell as a package for $4.97. Yours free, the gift of generosity. Now, would like you to know more about facebook.com/referralguru. This is my Facebook page. We've got over 70-some thousand fans and people who participate on that, and I have one job with my Facebook page. My one job is to post pictures and posts and videos that you can share which result in referrals, right? These are the things that your community, the people that you know, love, and trust want to see. So you can take it, share it, and that's all I do with that it's truly to just help you get referrals from those you know best. And that's facebook.com/referralguru. The next thing is we just need to talk about the first step, right? What's the first step in the process? And the first step in any process of change is you have to change your mindset about how referrals are generated. And the biggest thing that I want you to know is you're closer than you think. It doesn't have to be a big mental change. The fact is you're very close to a massive amount of referrals, and I mean referrals not only from your SOI, but from your farm. You're going to see that I give you these little things that make the big difference. You know, they say that large doors swing on small hinges. And what that means, I mean, if you think about that, I mean, how big a door is and how small the hinge, but the door completely relies on the hinge. We completely rely on the hinge. And it's the small things that make the big difference. And what you need to know is success is not a 180-degree turn. What we see in, well, you know, success is not a 180-degree turn. Success is a 1-degree tweak. It's just a 1-degree tweak. And the key here is that in real estate, we're always encouraged to take these 180-degree turns. But I want you to know the ways of getting business in real estate are tried and true, right? You are going to get business from, I mean, what's funny is what's the 180-degree turn, right? I think the real estate community was really hoping that internet leads were going to be like the next magic pill, right? And we kind of found out that's not going to happen. And then there were a lot of people who it's like really wanted social media to be the next way to generate a lot of leads, and we found that that doesn't work either. And then we had a lot of people who are really hoping that Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com were the ways to generate a lot of leads, and now we're finding that all we're doing is funding a machine that's trying to eat us. So what's funny is the ways to get business are the same as they've ever been, and they are repeat and referral. They are sign calls. They are open houses. They are expired and FSBOs, and they are farming. I mean, those are the 5 that have been around forever, and they are the ones that are going to be here forever. So the ones that we should really focus on are those 5, and of course my preference is the repeat and referral, because I believe it's the most profitable niche, period, because it doesn't take anything to get referrals cost-wise. And if you have some time and no money, referrals is a great way to get started. So the thing to remember is success is not a 180-degree turn. Success is a 1-degree tweak. So what I want to do is today I just want to hit you some quick hits about how we got started and what we did from our farming approach, and how that honestly our farming approach developed into our approach for referral mastery. And so what I'm going to cover today is why, right? Why farm? Why are you doing what you're doing? And then I want to cover the Board of Advisors approach, which has been so effective for me in so many different avenues, and in fact was the approach that allowed my book to become a bestseller in only 7 days, and then it has been #1 in real estate sales on Amazon. You can check it out. Go to Amazon.com or go to thebookonreferrals.com, and you will see that 7L is the #1 book in real estate sales right now, and it's been that way for 4 years. It has never been done before. That has never been done. It's not me, right? I didn't buy all those books. The reason it did is because I used the board of advisors approach over and over again. And then I also built on my successes. So I'm going to show you how to build on your successes. I invented something called circle prospecting many years ago out of necessity. And once again, I told you I had time but no money, right? So that's where circle prospecting came up. And then the last thing is EDDM and partnering with a printer. And this is really a way, how do we lower our costs and improve our revenues? And by the way, revenues minus expenses equals profit. So, all right, so why? And I truly believe this is the most important thing that I could cover with you, period. And it's, why are you farming this particular community? Why do you want to farm this area? I know that Kenny got started because he was already doing the route for FedEx and or UPS at the time, so he knew the area. He lived in the area, and what's funny is when I talk to the best farmers in the world. Some of you don't know this, but you know, Alan Dom is a really good friend of mine, and he is known as the Condo King. He's in Philadelphia, and he does over 1,000 transactions every year, and he does them within a 5-mile square area in Center City in Philadelphia. And just so you know, that is also, he owns 34 restaurants in the area, including some of the best in the entire state of Pennsylvania. One of them is called Barclay Prime. It has a $100 Philadelphia cheesesteak sandwich that is worth every penny, right? Okay, so I don't know how I got off on that, but I guess it's lunchtime where I'm at. So here's the thing. Where's your passion about it? If you're not passionate about the neighborhood, you won't be able to sell the neighborhood. I truly believe that. What are the differentiating benefits of living here rather than across the street? You know, is it because the yards are a little bit bigger? Is it because of a community pool? We have a neighborhood that we are highly invested in. We've gone beyond farming to developing, right? And it's one of those where, why? Well, it is in the Blue Valley School District, which is one of the best school districts in Kansas City, and it had a community pool. So this neighborhood was built for kids. And by the way, it's walking distance to the elementary. So there are some benefits of living here rather than across the street, right? Across the street, which is across 4 lanes of busy road, is it does not have a community pool, and you cannot walk to the school. So bottom line is, you need to know the differentiating benefits of living here rather than across the street. And how do we know if you're passionate about it? When I have interviewed, when I've been in the offices, and I've been in the offices of the top agents across the country, because that's how I learn, that's what I implement, and also a lot of times I'm there to teach them how to use their referral specialist to get more referrals. So here's the thing. Do you have a map of the neighborhood, the subdivision, or the community on your wall? If you don't, then guess what? Then I know that you're doing it as an aside, and it's not a focus, and you will fail. Period. The ones that I go to them and I see, they have a map of the zip code, or they have a map of the neighborhood up on the wall. Some people have aerial photos of the neighborhood up on their wall, like Alan Dom, right? So, and then the last thing that you really need to consider when it's like, why am I farming this community? And I want you to know, this is the biggest mistake I see, so why don't we just start here, is people are like, wow, I'd really like to have $1 million plus as my, I want to pick a neighborhood that's upper end or whatever it may be, right? And what happens is, it's just not them, right? I mean, these are people that are far more comfortable 100 to 500,000 maybe, or 400 to 600,000. And that's what they're passionate about, but they choose the $1 million because they figure, oh, well, if I get one, then it, made it worthwhile. But the thing is you'll never get one. You'll spend all this money and all this time, effort, energy, and you won't get anything because you're not passionate about it and it's not what you want, right? So and the key is who are the people who live here? And I want you to know that the people you're going to have the most success with are the people like you. That's just know. I mean, that's why referrals are so powerful, is because the first people that typically work with you are going to be the people who know you, like you, and are on their way to trusting you when it comes to real estate. So who are the people? Now, let's say you love the area, maybe you even live there, and you understand all the benefits, and you can sell this neighborhood. You've got a map on the wall, and you're ready to go, and you know some people, right? So this one approach can change your life. It changed my life. In fact, it changed my life over and over and over again. Is you pick a target, you pick a focus, and then you develop a board of advisors around it from the people you know. That is it. That's the board of advisors approach. So the first question I'm going to ask if I want to go into a neighborhood is, who do I already know in the area, right? Who have I already sold? I mean, I want to start with people and then what I want to do is I'm going to call them. And let's call the neighborhood Symphony Hills, right? So who do I already know in Symphony Hills? I'm going to think of at least 5 people, literally, I just thought of 5 people off the top of my head who live in Symphony Hills, love Symphony Hills, and works in Symphony Hills or around there. Now, I'm going to call each of them, and I'm going to say, listen, I love Symphony Hills. You know I love Symphony Hills. You love Symphony Hills. And so what I want to do is I want to work more in Symphony Hills. I would love to be the preferred realtor in Symphony Hills. Let me ask you something. How would I go about doing that? What suggestions do you have for me to do more business in this neighborhood that I love, right? And you're going to get really curious. By the way, I have had those calls turn into, no, we actually hate this neighborhood and we want to get out. I literally just had a call like that a couple of weeks ago, and I found out a nugget about a development that, the nugget is that the pool is most likely not going to go in, and the developer is going to renege on some other promises, and people are going to be looking to move out of this development. Do you think that's good information? It all started with one phone call to someone in the neighborhood that we were looking to possibly farm. Isn't that amazing? And all right, so then you're going to call, and individually you're going to get a feel. Then what you're going to do is do a conference call with all the people you called, right? So if you know 5 of them, you're going to have a conference call with the 5 of them, and you want to call this, hey, it's a board of advisors, right? And I want advice. Now, don't call it a board of directors, because a board of directors has a different connotation than just a board of advisors. With a board of advisors, there's no pay, there's no set schedule, there's no don't worry, there's not going to be any big issues, right? So board of advisors, and then on the board of advisors, you're going to ask the questions out of curiosity about Symphony Hills, like, why do you like living in Symphony Hills? What made you choose to live in Symphony Hills? What would you change about Symphony Hills? What do you think is the commonality between everybody who lives in Symphony Hills? What's different? What do you think it's mostly families, or do you think it's mostly downsizers? What is the most popular house? What would you do differently in checking out Symphony Hills? What would you like to know? And then what you want to do is you want to use what you learned to hone your approach, right? You want to use what you learned in your conversations, in your postcards, in your communication with that community, right? And then what you have to realize is so powerful about the Board of Advisors approach is the people that you're talking to take pseudo-ownership of your success in the neighborhood. They're going to start talking about you to others. You have to realize that when you gather them, when they're all on the same call with you, what you're doing is you're turning champions into ambassadors. right? And what it is, the equation is champion plus champion equals 2 ambassadors. What happens is they get on this call and one person is talking highly about you and helping you, and another person is seeing them doing that, right, or hearing them doing that. And when they're hearing them doing that, they are freed. They have freedom to do the same thing, talk highly about you, help you, and so on and so forth. And now you have these 5 people who were like in a bubble before loving you, and now they realize there's other people that love you, so I can champion you at a higher level, which then they become ambassadors. So that's a powerful thing. Now, here's the thing. Have the board of advisors take their advice and then do it, right? Whether you think you should or not, somehow, some way, follow through, follow up, and communicate to the board what you did. And having them all on one email strand is a great way to do that. Just email and said, hey, one of the things you said is that a majority of the people go to this church. Well, I want you to know I went to the church, I talked to the pastor, and he is so supporting us that it's not even funny. He really wants to partner with us, and I'm really looking forward to what we're doing here, right? So that's just one example of a billion. The other thing, too, is attach your efforts to a cause. What you're going to do is you're going to find out there is something that neighborhood rallies around. And a lot of times it is the elementary school sports teams, or it is around the elementary school, or it's around the church, or it is around soccer, or it is around some charity. You're going to find that there's usually a cause attached to every community. And I want you to know, if there isn't a cause, then take what you learned from the board of advisors and create a cause, right? And when you create a cause and you tie a cause to a community, you are in, my friends. I mean, you are now a part of the community because you are helping the community. And the one thing that every community wants is a cause. They want to contribute. They want to give back. So that's the board of advisors approach. That's probably worth the price you paid for the webinar, period, right there, right? Then what we need to do is we need to take one listing, right? What you really need to do is it's just like, just give me one. And I will tell you, that is the strength of top producers. What top producers do really well is they take, if you give them an ounce, they're going to do opportunity to get a ton. I mean, that is the truth. They can take an ounce of gold and turn it into a ton of gold in a matter of days. And that's what we did with circle prospecting. And what you do is you take one listing, and then you're going to put every ounce of time, energy, effort, and money you have into marketing that listing. And that's where circle prospecting came from, is my whole philosophy of taking one listing. And I don't have time to tell you all that is about circle prospecting. Circle prospecting is just basically you take the house and you draw a certain size circle around it, and everybody in that circle is going to know about it, know about you, and they're going to know how you work, right? They're going to know that you're a good person. They're going to know that if they listed with you, that holy smokes, there is some proactive marketing going on. I'll give you one example, right? One example is you get a listing. You're going to find out later in the presentation that there's a magic around the number 150, right? So if you get one, we're going to focus on 150 people, right? And that's not very many. You might think, oh, just 100. But guess what? The power of that is that instead of quantity, we're going to go into quality. So we're going to have an open house in a couple of weeks, right? So if I took a listing today, I would not have an open house this weekend. I would for sure have an open house the week after that. But I'm not going to have a little podunk open house with 2 signs. It's going to be a mega open house. We're going to have 100 signs, and we're going to door knock 150 of the homes around that. But we're not door knocking from the aspect of getting business, right? Because that's door knocking that's extremely offensive in my books. What we're going to do, and I want you to hear this, is, hey, listen, I'm just here to alert the neighborhood That is the best opening sentence in the history of the world. I want you to know that, right? Hey, I'm just here to alert the neighborhood. We have a listing on Symphony Hills Drive, and what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of signs, and there's going to be a lot more traffic than normal through the neighborhood on this Sunday. And all I was doing is I just wanted to let you know that there's going to be more traffic, there's going to be more things going on, and I just wanted to let you know that this is going to happen. And a lot of times what happens is when there's this traffic, people get really interested, and if you have somebody who has wanted to live in this neighborhood, now would be the time to tell them, because this is going to sell, it's going to sell quickly, and we're going to do everything humanly possible to make sure that we get a lot of traffic. Because here's the second thing. We found that if we get a lot of traffic, we sell it for more, and that benefits you because the prices in the neighborhood go up. So we just, like I said, I'm just here to alert the neighborhood. That's all I wanted to let you know. And, you know, just be careful around the traffic. Thank you. So that is our door knocking script. And you're like, wow, you didn't sell anything at all. You didn't ask for a referral. You didn't ask for business. You didn't ask for a buyer. And you're right, I didn't. And you know what? Do they know what I do? Yeah, they know I'm a marketer, and they know I'm in real estate. And that's all good there. So, and I want you to know, circle prospecting is then we're going to get all 150 of them flyers delivered to their house, and they're going to have a postcard in their mailbox, right? Those 150. And notice that we're going to absolutely bombard that it's almost like looking at a bomb site, right? I mean, it's like, boom, we have a lot of momentum with those 150, and we're only going to focus on those 150. And I'll tell you, this is something you're not going to hear, but there's problems with predictive analytics when it comes to real estate. And what they're trying to do is it's like, well, they have one less car in their driveway, and they moved 7 years ago, and they're trying to use this data to figure out which people are moving and which aren't. Well, here's the problem, and you and I both know this. As top agents, we know that's not how it works. Moving is an incredibly emotional event, and it is an incredibly non-planned event. Isn't that funny? Moving is non-planned until they know it's happening, right? When they know it's happening, then it becomes a planned event in most cases. But how many people walk, they're just curious, they're walking through an open house, all of a sudden they see this new home, they smell the new wood, and now they're buyers, right? I mean, that happens all the time. Well, here's what you can know. And please take this. You are the fortunate hundreds, right? Because this is something that people need to know, and it's something I haven't really talked about in a lot of presentations, but it's the truth. The economics of a neighborhood are as such. Here's what happens. There's no homes that are for sale in a neighborhood, right? It happens all the time. Drive through, haven't you ever noticed, like, your neighborhood, you'll be driving through, there's like no signs, right? And then what happens? Somebody has to move. They get relocated, their kids move, so you have to downsize, or the kids are going to a high school and they want to, whatever. Somebody puts a sign up, and what happens? Well, demand and supply. There's only one available. They get multiple offers. They sell it for a good price. Well, what happens? The neighbors see it, and they're like, huh, they just got $20,000 more than we paid. You know what? Let's put it up. And so you have 4 or 5 signs. And guess what? 4 out of the 5 sell very quickly for top dollar, and they sell very fast. So what happens? Word spreads through the neighborhood. People, they're not even talking to each other. Word spreads. It's actually success spreads through the neighborhood. And then what do you see? You see 30 signs in the neighborhood. And then that's when you start seeing, only 4 or 5 of those sell, and you have 25 yards or 25 people who can't sell their home. So what do? They take it off the market, right? So everybody takes their house off the market, and then what happens? Yeah, about 30 days later, one person pops up, and it sells, and so on and so forth. So the problem with predictive analytics, if you were to ask me what is the #1 way to predict other sales or other people selling, is the speed of the sale of the least amount of homes in the neighborhood, right? So if there were one sale in the neighborhood and it sold in less than 2 weeks, then I would be all over marketing to the 150 homes around that neighborhood, right? And so that's how you, and if I saw 30 or 50, and the thing that's so funny is that us as realtors are so reactive. We see the 25 or 30, so we want to market to the area because, oh, there must be a lot of people selling in here. So that is the conundrum. I just want to keep going, right? The power of Dunbar, and we can do questions at the end after I talk about Boost and all the awesome stuff that we have left here. But the power of Dunbar's number, I have to share this with you just because this is one of those epiphanous moments. Circle prospecting was epiphanous for me. The Board of Advisors, epiphanous, huge moment for me. Dunbar's number, the key here, and I just did a huge panel. Scott understands this. I did a panel with the Callaways and Kenny Claus and Don Matheson, and we talked all about farming. The #1 thing that really came from that was focus on a few, start small, right? I am proof of that, and that is build it 150 at a time. Dunbar's number states that the maximum number of relationships a person can maintain at one time is 150, and that is a great number to start with. The Callaways started with 25 people. That was who they farmed. They did a flyer, they hand delivered it, and they're doing pretty good now at 400 or 500 transactions a year, right? So if I had one listing, I'm going to focus on the 150 for my circle prospecting. If I have 3 listings in the neighborhood, I'm going to do the 50 around those homes, right? Now, there's going to be some overlap sometimes, but the bottom line is this magical number of 150. I only want 150 things going out to a certain neighborhood at a certain time, right? And as Alan Daum said, once again, I mean, Alan Daum, you know, with all respect to Kenny and the Callaways and Russell and others, Alan Daum is probably the greatest geographic farmer of our time, right? 1,000 transactions a year. He owns his own title company. He owns his own mortgage company. He owns his own rental property management company. And he buys buildings and develops them in his farm. He has 33 restaurants, right? So not only does he own the real estate, oh, by the way, he also owns 17 parking lots, and he some of his best people who rent from him on the first floor are other real estate companies. So that's kind of a fun joke, right? You own your farm so well that other realtors rent out places from you. Just think about that for a second. So be a one-street specialist. That's how Alan Daum got started, was focusing on one street. So be a one-street specialist, one street with 150 homes. All right, so here's the other thing. You've been told that you should touch your farm a certain amount of times, right? But here's what I want you to know. It's the quality of the touches, not the quantity. And this is going to accelerate, please know, this is going to accelerate your success with any farm, demographic or geographic, is to remember it's the quality of the touches, not the quantity. It's not 12 or 24, 33, 36, or 52, or 365, right? It's the quality. And so the bad news, if it's an email or a postcard, it doesn't count as a touch. You can't count it, because just because you sent it doesn't mean they got it, right? And more so, you can't guarantee they felt it, right? It's called a touch for a reason, right? Touch is the sense of feel, right? So, or feel is the sense of touch. So if a postcard is your only strategy, you will lose. I've just seen it over and over and over again. I've seen people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on postcards. And the fact is, if it's all you're going to do, you might as well do nothing. Here's the good news, though. Right? I told you the bad news. Good news, one phone call overcomes 365 days of them thinking you don't care. That's called perceived indifference. And one phone call is more powerful than any amount of emails. 20, 30, 40, 100, whatever it means. So here's the thing. Don't send a postcard unless you're willing to make a call or door knock. Don't send a postcard unless you're willing to make a phone call or door knock. Period. Right? Enough said on that. All right, so here's the other thing, is cut costs, improve revenue. Here are some things that I've seen people make mistakes with when it comes to marketing in general and when it comes to farming. One is I have seen people with postcards that have no call to action. Here's the thing. What do you want them to do? Right? You want them to call you. And the thing is call to action. Put on your postcard please call this free recorded message, 1-800-441 whatever, 7699, extension 1234, right? To get your whatever it may be, right? Your free neighborhood alert newsletter about what's new in your neighborhood, right? That is a call to action. And the thing is call to action. What's the benefit of doing the call to action? Why should I do it? Make sure you're really good at explaining that. And then what do I get for calling? And you want to make that something of value, right? Then also, we're huge believers in EDDM. I want you to know that that will cut your cost by maybe 2/3. I mean, literally, it could cut it down to 67, down to, in fact, it's allowed us to do more numbers at the same price, right? So here's the other thing, is make sure it's delivered. We have seen EDDM, every door direct mail, which is from USPS, sorry. Thank you for describing that, Scott. And that is, make sure your brochure is the proper size. You will be pleasantly surprised that EDDM allows 8.5 by 11 two-sided stuff. I mean, and good solid stock. So it is, make it easy on them, and they'll make it really inexpensive for you. The other thing is make sure it's delivered. There have been cases of EDDM not making it out the door for one reason or another. It's newer delivery guy, or it's your first or second. Make sure your first or second go out. So that's the EDDM. Here's the other thing is so partner with a printer. We have a phenomenal relationship with a printer, and we were finding that we were having a lot of success. So here's the thing: who can you pay a referral fee to? Right? Could I partner with a printer and say, hey, here's the deal: send out our stuff, and then when something sells, I'll give you some money. Right? Can we do that? Normally we can't do that. But guess what? You can do that if the printer is what? If the printer is licensed. If the owner of the printing company is licensed, they can send out your goods. And just so you know, notice that that is now free for me until I close something. And in real estate, anytime that you can line up your outgo with your income, it is a good thing. So partner with a printer. Now here's the thing: do you want to do this from the very beginning? No, but I want you to look at this as a future way to cut your printing cost, because my printing cost is zero. Yeah, that's zero. Now the thing is, though, it's zero until what? Oh, until something sells. Do you think I care a whole lot at the time that it sells that I'm paying this person? And just so you know, that has worked out in his favor, and it has worked out in my favor. So is that a win-win? Absolutely. So that's how to up your profit. I'm big into profit. And here's the last thing, right? $1 million briefcase, and then I want to go into Boost, because I feel like this is my calling in life. Here's the thing: is your $1 million briefcase. If I told you that I had $1 million briefcase with your name on it, and I was going to give it to a third party, independent person, and say, hey, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go put this on a porch somewhere in North America, right? And then I came back to you and said, hey, there is a briefcase with $1 million in it with your name on it, and it is on a porch in North America, right? How many of you would go and look for the $1 million briefcase? Well, all of you would start. And then how many, where would you go? How would you find this briefcase? Right? So you would maybe check your front door. You would check the neighbors. Maybe you would check 3 or 4, but you would soon give up. I mean, that's what this research shows. You would soon give up. Some people give up after 5 or 6 porch. Some people give up after 1 porch. You know, it's not on my porch, and never mind. And then some would go to 100 porches, right? But let me ask you this, right? What if I gave you a map with an X on it for where the $1 million briefcase is, and I gave you a GPS, right? You would move mentally from hope, which is I hope I find this briefcase, to faith, right? You would never stop until you got that $1 million briefcase, because now you had a map and now you had GPS to take you there, right? So what's the difference between hope and faith, right? Hope waits, faith acts. Well, how do we get faith? Ladies and gentlemen, we go from hope to faith by having a map. If you have the map, you will have faith. If you have the plan, you will move forward, right? So I want you to know, people call my communication plan the $1 million communication plan. Why do they call it that? Because I netted nearly $1 million in my 3rd year of real estate. No business plan, no marketing plan. I had one plan, and it was a communication plan. So I highly encourage you to create a communication plan for your farm. And while you're at it, create a communication plan for the 150 people that are nearest and dearest to you in your life, right? I mean, it just makes sense. And I will tell you that when you have a communication plan, you will make the calls because you understand how they fit into the $1 million briefcase. You will do events. You will have one-on-ones. You will write handwritten notes because you understand how it fits in the $1 million briefcase, right? So let's cover some questions now. I'll cover 2 questions, Scott, if you're okay with that. A couple of questions if you've got them. If you don't have them, then what I really want to do is I want to tell them how I can help them, because I'm really excited about this, because we've done some new stuff.
Well, we got one question that came up from Joan, and she's having some trouble with somebody from the HOA in her area that he told her Facebook group is unfair to other agents who live in the neighborhood. Mm. Absolutely, well, it's unfair. Yeah, I mean, farming is unfair.
Hey, you know what? Here's would be my approach to that person is I would say, you know what? It absolutely is. And what I'd love to do is let's get together over a cup of coffee, 15, 20 minutes, and I would like to tell you a few of the other places where I've found that what we do is really unfair to other agents. I mean, I would love to sit down with that person. You have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, that the biggest complainers can typically be the biggest champions for you. So what I would want to do, I would take this as momentum, right? You have opened up, and my motto, like my tombstone, it will say, if you gave Michael an ounce of interest, he gave you a ton of love, right? This person has put their hand up and giving you an ounce of interest. So now is the time to give them a ton of love. But that's not how typically people react, right? How do we, we've never been taught how to react to that. So what we do is we react like we're offensive or defensive, right? We shut them down, squash them, or we get really defensive and say, right? But the key is to think collaborative instead of competitive. So how can you work with her and the thing is, hey, you know what? I'll do a seminar or a webinar for other agents who might work in the neighborhood or might want to work in the neighborhood, and I'll teach them about how to build a Facebook community site, right? So here's the deal. So you have a webinar. Nobody shows up, right? No agents are going to show up for an agent doing a Facebook community. And that's where you go, it looks like no other agents are interested in your neighborhood, but I am. Right? So I think that's the big thing is that, I've found out far more by partnering than I have by competing.
Excellent, excellent. So, Michael, why don't you tell us how you can help?
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, first of all, for CLME, and thank you for, I mean, this is my calling, right, is helping others, especially agents, communicate their solutions to their community, right? And I'm really excited about it. I'm not going to go into detail on here. I'm just going to, all right, what do these people have in common? People like Dave Ramsey and Gary Keller and Daniel Kennedy, Zig Ziglar, and Alan Dahm, and others. And the truth is what they have in common is they support me, right? They all endorse 7L, and they've endorsed Boost and my materials. And that's powerful because I'm just a little kid from Kansas City, right? I'm a pretty much an average person who just kept going. So that's a pretty big deal. In fact, Dave Ramsey, talk about big deals, right? He's a big deal. Well, he said the ability to build relationships is the backbone of a successful business. You guys know that, right? The phone call, the handshake, the lunch meeting, that's where business is done. And Michael J. Maher knows how to do it. If you want to win in business, you've got to learn how to win with people. And the 7L system will show you how to do just that, right? That's a big deal. If you're interested, if you haven't read the book, do me a favor. Read 7L. Otherwise, people are going to meet you in the community, and they're going to go, where have you been, right? Truly. So normally it's $30, but you can get it for $20, right, from our website. And the audio book is something Zig Ziglar told me that I had to do. So when Zig Ziglar says you have to do it, you do it. There's a bunch of bonus materials on the audio book. And remember, with an audio book, you can listen to it over and over and over again. It's normally $50. Today it's $40. You can get that at 7lsystem.com. But listen, this is I'm just telling you this stuff. This isn't the stuff, right? So action guide, we had to create a book that was the entire 7L system. There's over 400 pages in this book, right? It's the entire 7L system on how to get referrals. And then the blessings book we have, of course, is normally $15. You can get it for $10. It's just a journal, right? It's a journal. It happens to be branded to 7L and me, right? But it's also sized to fit into a small purse or fit into a coat pocket for a guy because it is really my inbox. But those are really not what I wanted to tell you about. Some people just don't know we have an audio book or an action guide, so it'd be better that you knew than if you didn't know. So here's what I'm really excited to tell you about, right? What would you invest to have me and my team help you for 1 month, right? I mean, like 24/7 access. And you would get all of our systems, all of our tools, and our techniques. And you're going to discover, I'm not just going to give you my communication plan and, hey, go do it, right? I'm going to help you build your communication plan, right? It's the best thing that I've ever done, and it's called Boost. Boost is referral mastery. You're going to master short phrases that attract referrals. The big thing is there are people in your database who are begging to refer you. They want to refer you right now, but they don't know how, and they, more importantly, don't know that you want and need referrals. I will tell you, this is the #1 thing that people come out of Boost with, is there are people who are better referral sources than others, and you should spend your time, energy, effort, money on those that are better referral sources. You're going to get access to us 24/7 to all of us, and I will tell you that we have 2 people that are literally answering that stuff right now in our record class. This month's Boost is our record, and we intend for next month to have an even bigger class. Now, you're going to know what to say to every person in your database, not just in person, not just on the phone, but also in handwritten notes. And these things that you say will produce referrals without asking for referrals. We do not believe in asking for referrals, not directly. We ask for referrals on door prize entry forms and on paper, but you should not be asking for referrals verbally because it's uncomfortable for both of you. You could possibly get a referral every single day or more. We've had people who have gotten a referral with Corey Rose just this month. 6 referrals the first 6 days he was in Boost. 6 referrals in 6 days. But here's the thing. Can we guarantee that? No. We can guarantee that if you implement, you're going to get referrals. But what do some people get from Boost? Nothing, right? That's the truth. Because what did they put into it? They put into it nothing, right? But here's the thing. Let's see what happened with Jenny Williams. She's another great case, right? So, Michael, since I've met you, you've totally changed my life, and I'm forever grateful for 7L and the generosity generation. Not only have you changed my life, but also the agents I coach in this business as well. Since Gen Birmingham, where we had 205 people show up to learn the generosity generation, it sure has spread. We followed up with Boost. We had a group of 28 agents follow up with Boost, and listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. They earned an amazing 304 referrals in only 3 weeks. We're still learning and putting the systems in place. We all look forward to learning much more from you. Thank you, Jenny Williams. And this is in Birmingham, Alabama, right? And that is nearly 12 referrals per person in 3 weeks. How would your life change? And you're not just going to get 12, you're above average, so you're going to get more than that. But how would your life change if you got 12 referrals this month, right? 12 referrals this month. You would be set to blossom and boost next year, right? So how is it delivered? This is one of the keys, I truly believe, to the success of Boost, is it is 4 online training sessions, but you don't take them all in one day or all in 2 days. We have spaced it out so that you have time to implement, ask questions, and truly workshop your way to action. You can take it from the convenience of your home or your office. It's recorded for your review. What's the advantage of having the recording? Well, if you can't make the scheduled session, then guess what? You can watch the recording. But the power is that even if you do make the scheduled webinar, you can review the recording at your leisure. Rewind, fast forward, truly immerse yourself into referral mastery. And so you're going to create your ultimate referral generating machine and your WOW referral system. We've had over 8,500 plus. There's far more than that. I just haven't updated that number in a while. Boosters so far, and boosters are the most referred professional in their community. That's what we teach, is how to become the most referred professional in your community. Gary Keller, some of you might know that name. He said, master the generosity game, which is the game that I play every day. Build a powerful referral-based business. Put the wisdom of 7L system into practice now. And he knows something about systems, right? Todd Duncan said the 7L system is the most reliable and sensible business building system I have ever seen in over 20 years of helping millions of salespeople succeed. If you follow this amazingly simple recipe, I guarantee success will follow you. And this is the former partner of John Maxwell and the best-selling author of High Trust Selling and Time Traps and other Life on the Wire and some other books. All right, so I've told you what it is. I've told you how it's delivered. Now, let me tell you what the investment is. And I truly believe this is not an investment into a technology or a tool or anything like this. This is an investment in your personal self-improvement. That's what I believe. You will come out a better person on the backside of Boost. And I have to tell you, this is the best time to take Boost, because now you can take it, and this is such a great time to work on your business. A lot of times you're way too busy working in your business to truly immerse yourself into something. But now is the perfect time to work on your business and make improvements for not just, I mean, that's the other thing is, in a month, you're not going to have a plan for just this month. You're going to have a plan for the next 6 months, next 12 months, maybe even for the rest of your life. And what is the power of $100,000 idea, right? It's that you can implement it over and over and over again, right? So if you go to Boost right now, if you go to boostdecember.com right now, it's $497. People pay that all the time, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to bonus you the audio, a $50 bonus, just for making and taking advantage of this today, right? You're going to get Boost. You're going to get the audio. But listen, we're not going to make you pay $550. It's $197. Yeah, a part of you is like, are you nuts? That's incredible. Yeah, it's just $197. But I want to tell you, how many of you are fast action takers? Do you think that we found that some boosters are better than others? Well, of course. And here's the thing. The fast action takers, the ones who take action the fastest, are the ones who become the best boosters for us. They become the best ambassadors. So what we want to do is we want to reward those who take action the fastest. That makes sense, doesn't it? If you're a fast action taker, you're going to be rewarded. Not only are you going to get Boost, and not only are you going to get the audiobook, listen to this, You're going to get the action guide, yeah, $500 value, and you're going to get the blessings book. That's over $1,000 in value. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know something, right? Why am I so passionate about this? Because lives have been changed. If you're ready for your life and business to change to a nice good equals feel good equals do good, then this is the place to be. Not only am I going to give you the audio action guide and blessings book, but I'm also going to give you a free coaching session with a certified referral coach during your month in Boost, right, which is a $350 value. Now, that $350 is what I'm thinking is half a month, but in many cases our coaches get more than that. But that's just so almost $1,500 worth of stuff, $197, right? That is your CLME special price that Kenny and Scott negotiated out of me, right? So what are you going to get? You're going to get the blessings book. You're going to get the audio book and all the 4 CDs that are included there, the whole 7L system in an action guide form. And I want you to know the cherry on the top, the thing that is Boost is the thing, right? You want Boost. It's just $197 today. If you go to boostdecember.com and you use the promotional code CLME, you will get $300 off the price right there. Put in your address, and we will ship you the goods. We will ship you all of it. And notice, I have costs here, right? I put this together. I've got printing costs. I've got shipping costs. So bottom line is go to Boost December, use CLME as your code. You'll get it for $197. It could happen to you. In 4 sessions of Boost, this is just recently, boosters gave 810 outgoing referrals for over $3 million to the community. They did 329 one-on-ones, attended 198 events, did 2,000 phone calls, wrote 600 power notes, ran 149 momentum systems, and get this, 360 incoming referrals for $87 million in business in 3 weeks. That's in 3 weeks. That's $29 million a week. How would that change your life, right? So here's the deal. You're going to get the blessings book, the audio book, the action guide. You're going to get Boost. You're also going to get the free certified referral coach coaching session, and it's just $197 a day. You can go to boostdecember.com, use CLME as your code, and you can sign up now. And if you sign up, do me a favor, put in the questions box, I signed up, just to make sure the system works. A lot of times when we have a lot of people diving in and going there, sometimes it'll hang up and say it's pending, or it'll just kick you out. So do me a favor, when you order, let us know in the questions box. And if you have any questions or problems with it or questions about Boost, do me a favor and let us know, and we'll make sure it's solved, right? So for those interested in Boost, go to boostdecember.com, enter your promotional code CLME, hit apply, of course, to apply the promotional code. It will ring down from $497 to $197. The discount will be calculated. Finish your order, and everything will be shipped to you. You will get emailed the links to the webinars, and I want you to know something. This is for you only. The code only works today for you. Please do not share the code, right? We know who's on this webinar. You're on this webinar. And if you're interested, you get it. CLME, boostdecember.com.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. That was just a ton of content, great stuff. One of the things that stood out to me was the quality of the touches, not the quantity, because we get so many folks that, hey, I'm sending out these postcards. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm farming.
Yeah, so what's next? Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing about Kenny. Kenny getting started, he was so good on the panel because he was so real. He drove the community. He knew the community. He knew it better than anybody that lived in the community. I mean, when somebody asked for directions, he was all over it because he knew every inch of that zip code. And so you're right. It's definitely the quality of the touches, not the quantity.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Michael. If anybody has any questions, just email me, scott@clme.com, scott@clme.com, and I'll shoot those over to Michael as well. Thank you so much, Michael, and everybody go on out, sell some real estate.